Welcome back. Let's begin with chapter 5. Do you remember what happened in chapter 4? Why was Toby chewing his feet and making his feet bleed? Hopefully we'll be able to find out what happened and they can help him and make him better. Chapter 5. In the morning, I found out that I'd been right. People did get upset about the blood on my bed. Patsy cried out in worry when she came in to see me, and she called to other people, and they clustered around. Someone took my bed away to be washed, and Patsy wrapped long white bandages around my front feet. Fran came and watched too. She stood a little way off. "What's wrong with the dog?" she asked. "I don't know," Patsy answered as she taped the white wrappings securely around my paws. "Why would he do that to his feet? He must have been chewing on them all night." Fran made a sound like, "huh," in her throat. Fran does not seem to like Toby. I did not like the things Patsy had wrapped around my feet. They snagged on the carpet and made me skid on the tiles. More than once, all four paws slipped out from under me and I ended up on my belly. Sometimes people laughed. Sometimes they came and helped to pick me up. But even worse than that, the bandages kept me from chewing on my feet. My pads itched and itched and itched inside the wrappings, but I could not get at them. It was so frustrating that I limped back to the little room where I slept at night. My bed was back where it belonged, but it did not smell right. It had a harsh, soapy smell that I did not like at all. I rolled and squirmed around, trying to fix the problem, and then I lay down and I put all my effort into getting those pesky things off of my feet. People kept coming in to look at me. "No, Toby," they'd say. "Leave the bandages alone, Toby." Sometimes they tried to pull my mouth away from my feet. I'd lick their hands to show them that I still liked them, but I was busy. I had a job to do. "Oh, Toby, don't," Mona cried when she came into the room. "You'll make it worse." "Oh, poor thing. Mom, what's wrong with him?" "I don't know," Patsy said from the doorway, "but I got him an appointment at the vet's this afternoon. We'll figure it out, honey." Mona filled up my food and water dish, but I was not very interested. I just wanted to get at my feet so I could bite them and stop the itching. Mona sat next to me and said my name a lot. "Oh, Toby, oh, Toby," she murmured. I gave her as much attention as I could spare. I could tell she was unhappy too. Maybe her feet itched and ached like mine did. That afternoon, Mona picked me up and carried me to the car. She sat in the back seat with me, and Patsy drove, just like the time they had come to get me and taken me away from the ranch to my new home. Where were we going? Were we going to a different home now? I wasn't sure how I felt about that idea. It was always great to meet new people and discover new smells, but I'd miss Tyler and Granddad and some of the other people. I couldn't give it much thought though. I was tired from no sleep all night and tired of my feet burning inside their bandages. With a long sigh, I lay flat on Mona's lap. "Oh, Mom," she said, her voice vibrating with anxiety. "Something's really wrong." "I know, honey," Patsy said from the front seat of the car. "I know." I did not like the new place they took me to. It smelled of harsh chemicals and cleanness and fear. A lot of dogs had been here, and they had not liked it at all. Mona carried me to a small room with a metal table in the middle of it. I was so tired and discouraged that I lay down flat on the tabletop, even though it was hard and cold. It did feel good on my paws, though. I tugged at the strip of bandages with my feet. I'd almost gotten it undone. After a while, a man in a white coat came into the room. He talked to Patsy, and then he came over to me. "Let's see what's wrong, boy," he said to me. His scent was very strange. I could smell that he'd petted lots of dogs before me, and most of them had been scared. A clean chemical odor clung to his clothes, instead of something comforting like dirt. But he talked to me kindly, and his hands were gentle, so I wagged the tip of my tail. a little. He seemed to understand what the problem was because the first thing he did was to take the bandages off of my feet. Wonderful! My paws were so sore, though, that the moment I started nibbling on them, I yelped with pain. What could make him do that? Patsy asked, worried. The man checked all my feet. I followed his hand with my nose and tongue. Well, I'll have to do some blood work to be sure, he said, but I have an idea. I think Toby has a gluten allergy. Can dogs get that? Patsy asked, surprised. It's rare, but it does happen, the man answered. And it can cause itchy skin, especially on the paws, just like we're seeing here. Ever since this little guy started eating dog food instead of nursing, he probably hasn't been feeling well at all. Oh no, Patsy said. I had no idea. Well, there's really no way you could have been able to tell. There was no real way you could have been able to tell, the man told her. It's a tricky thing to diagnose. Let me wrap Toby's paws back up so he won't make them worse, and then I'll take a blood sample. Well, it turned out the man did not understood at all how to help me because he wrapped my paws back up in more of that frustrating bandage, and then he poked me with this thin, sharp stick. I yipped from the pain and confusion. Why was he doing all this to me? Oh, poor Toby, Mona said. And she picked me up and held me as soon as the man let me go. Patsy had to do more talking with the man and some other people. People seem to like doing that a lot instead of more interesting things like running or smelling or chasing or chewing. But Mona held me and cuddled me gently, which made me feel a little better. Not much, though. Finally, we got in the car again. Mona held me on her lap, some more, as I got my teeth into a bandage and yanked. I just feel so bad, she said. We should have realized something was wrong with him. All this time, he's been so unhappy. I let go of the bandage and I looked up at her. Drops of water were sliding down her cheeks. I squirmed around so that I could reach her face and lick the water off her chin. It tasted salty and sad. Mona was sad. I felt sorry for her. I knew how it felt to be sad. I licked her some more and leaned against her, tucking my head under her chin. Just like my mother, Sadie, had comforted me with her touch once, I tried to comfort Mona. Oh, Toby, you're so sweet, she said. That's what's so wonderful about dogs, her mother said. The car stopped, and Patsy reached an arm back to stroke my head. His allergies were awful, but he doesn't hold on any kind of grudge, does he? He's trying to tell you not to feel bad. He's forgiven us already. Wouldn't the world be a better place if people forgave each other as easily as dogs do? Over the next few days, Mona spent a lot of time with me. Patsy did too. They talked to me and petted me, which I liked very much. What I did not like was the way they kept fixing the tape on the bandages. Whenever I finally managed to get it loose, I could tell they were trying to help me, but they just didn't understand that what I needed was to get those bandages off. Mona started putting a different kind of food in my bowl too, which was even tastier than the last kind. She talked to me while I ate it, and that was nice. Good boy, Toby. This will help, she said. That's right. You'll be better soon. Even though Mona and Patsy didn't understand about the bandages, my feet weren't bothering me as much as they used to. They still itched at night, but less and less during the day. Even with my feet wrapped up, I felt good enough to make my way around my home, visiting all my friends. A few days after my visit to the strange man who had poked me with a sharp stick, I was going about my business, getting petted and licking hands and sniffing shoes when I spotted Tyler and Granddad at the end of the long hallway. My new friends! It felt like a long time since I'd seen them. My feet were feeling particularly good that morning, so I broke into a run. It was not easy to run down the tile hallway on the bandaged feet. My back feet slipped out from behind me and I ended up flopping on my belly. I got up, shook my head, and tried again with a slower start. That worked better. Soon I was trotting. That was good. I felt ready to run. "Here comes Toby!" "Here comes Toby!" Tyler called out. He was not very far away. I wanted to see him so much. Eagerly, I put on speed. I was running. It was working. "Good boy," Grandpa said. He was leaning on his metal cage and chuckling. I aimed myself at Tyler's white sneakers and braced myself to stop. But it didn't quite work as I expected. The bandages were slippery, and I could not use my claws for grip. I skidded right into Tyler's feet, and my whole body ended up piled on his shoes. But I was so glad to see him that I didn't mind at all, especially when he sat down on the floor and petted me all while I wagged and wiggled with happiness. "Boy, he's full of energy today, huh?" Tyler said as I licked his chin. Mona said his feet were getting better. "Here, Toby, want to chase something?" He tugged a small rubbery ball out of his pocket and showed it to me. "Toby, ready?" I looked alert. Was the ball for me? "Get it, Toby." Tyler tossed the ball and it bounced away down the hallway. Instantly, I lunged after it. Or I tried to. All four of my feet slid out from under me at once, and I ended up flat on my stomach on the floor. Tyler and Granddad laughed, and Tyler bent down to help me up. But I had already scrambled back to my feet. That ball was getting away from me. With my feet skidding at every step, I still managed to get a good amount of speed. The ball ricocheted around the corner, and I did exactly the same thing, barking as I went. "Whoops!" "Toby, wait up!" Tyler called from behind me. I heard Tyler saying my name, so maybe he wanted me to go back to him, but I was not interested in going back. I was interested in chasing. The ball bounced through an open door, and I headed after it. "Hey, watch out!" yelled a voice. Feet stepped over me. I jumped, and I landed with both of my front paws on the ball. They still hurt a little, but the satisfaction of getting that ball more than made up for it. I flopped down to give the ball a good chew, and then hands I had never smelled before seized under my belly and hoisted me into the air. The ball fell out of my mouth, and I found I was looking into a dark brown face. The man holding me had fierce eyes and bristly gray hair between his lips and his nose. He had a mustache. "What are you doing in here?" the man said sternly. "This is a kitchen. No dogs allowed. You're in real trouble, Buster." I squirmed in his hands. My ears and my tail drooped. I was beginning to get the feeling that somehow I'd done something wrong. And that is the end of chapter 5. So where do you think he's at? What do you think that he did? Why is that man angry with him? Tune in next time to find out.